Alright guys, so we're going to talk about the day we had on Friday. I'm recording this on Saturday, going to post on Saturday. But we took 2 trades. Both were decent, but I didn't trade the best as a trader. If I'm being honest. We ended up being minus 50 on the day on the 4 evals, and we ended up being up 161, but let's go through them real quick. I already have this one marked out, and I honestly think this one is a banger. If we just go to the higher time frame to start, we're clearly in a sell model. Like, we're respecting these 4-hour gaps first presented in like breakout leg. The only one we didn't was this one right here. I mean, and maybe we were shooting for this one and that's why the trade didn't work, but I wanted price to respect this 4-hour gap. It was obvious, and at that point, or no, it wasn't relative equals, but I thought we were going to be shooting for this low, and we ended up edging it. But yeah. Oh yeah, no, it was relative equals at the time, but that wasn't really my target. There was another 4-hour gap, but wanted that 4-hour gap to get respected. We're in a sell model on the higher time frame, and it was pretty clean, to be honest, pretty clean. Let me just zoom in a little more. Let's just get this shit. So this would be the 4-hour gap we're respecting, and then this would be the one we're targeting. It was super clean. It was wicking into it. Let's go back to the 1 minute. Turn my drawings on. So now that we zoom in, where's market open? Market makes a 930 low, which is opening low, which I love, and it's kind of right at the 4-hour gap. And that's kind of what makes the 4-hour gap so awesome. Let's try to get back there today. That's what I'm thinking in my head. This play up here was actually a banger to a 5-minute gap here, and I wasn't even on the charts. I didn't want to talk about that because that would have been a banger. But this is the play I took. Price sweeps in this play, price sweeps liquidity inside the 4-hour gap, and then has this big move down. I mean, yeah, CISD to the downside. I didn't really mark that out, but I guess you could say this is the CISD. And then in this down move, we make a 5-minute gap. Let's go to the 5-minute real quick. We're making a 5-minute gap here, and we'd be respecting it with this little wick here if the play ended up playing out, but it doesn't play out. Now for kind of like the liquidity targets. So we make a low here, we have this low here. I'd consider that relative equals, and there's a 30-second gap here for a break-even point. That's super nice. Love that. Again, just more liquidity below to target. Price comes up, sweeps this internal high, taps into the 5-minute gap. Again, we barely sweep it. Beautiful respect to the 5-minute gap. And then we have a fat candle to the downside. Fat candle. I love the candle. We lost some RR with the candle, but that candle being so bearish is an awesome candle to see. So I was like, oh, like, this plays super valid now. Let's take this. Again, for our targets, our break-even point is a low inside a 30-second gap. I would think we would at least get there. Again, we get absolutely smashed in this place. Smashed. And we don't get it. TP is, again, this 930 wick targeting this 4-hour unmitigated gap, and that's kind of the play. So many confluences working here. I really, really like it. It makes a lot of sense. And it doesn't end up playing out. Though, if I wanna say why it might have not worked out, again, I took a short coming up that is a winner. And I was wrong on my bias because we were going up. But this was really the only reason why my bias was wrong and I was taking shorts right here. This low resistance liquidity on an hourly time frame. Now, once we get to this 4-hour gap, I'm thinking more bearish until this low here. But if we end up breaking through, then I could see us shooting for these highs. But I was more inclined to take shorts towards the unmitigated 4-hour and respecting the 4-hour, but price decided to disrespect the 4-hour and go for the low resistance liquidity. So I understand why my bias was wrong, but I'm still happy with my bias. Like, I think it made total sense. So if we go back to the 1 minute, let's go to our winning trade, which is not as good and was still a fine trade, but was a little bit of a force, I'd say. Okay, a little bit of a force. It was this here. What was I targeting? Because now I kind of forget. What time was this at? Yeah, I was in this. Again, I didn't really look back at this play. I was kind of, again, my loser was really good. So I was looking at the loser more. Okay, I see. I love this. Love this. Again, this was my break even. This was my break even. Again, I'm feeling we're in a sell model. Yes, there's a 1 minute gap here getting respected, which I like because I'm really bullish, really bullish. I'm really thinking we're going lower, respecting the 4-hour gap. So we're going to be respecting bearish price action and disrespecting bullish. And we're disrespecting bearish gaps with these like sweeps, but like it keeps not delivering. So I try again. I risk a little too much, which is not good. Risk a little too much. I'm just trying to think back on the trade. Yeah, this was the one though. I risk a little too much, and I think I'm just trying to figure out when I got out of the actual trade. I guess let's do it at ending too, because, and I'll show executions because it'll be easier. Nope, I'm bugging. I know where to go. Push this back on Q. Okay, there's an extra one here, because I think I accidentally bought for some reason, and that almost cooked my mental. Okay, I mean, you can see it now, how once we hit this internal low, I got out for the majority of the contracts, and I booked like a $400 win, and then, oh yeah, now I'm remembering pretty clearly, booked around a $400 win. As price gets down a little more, these last two contracts that we're in for, we were in like $300 of profit. So I was thinking, yeah, we could take, but again, I'm super bearish. I'm feeling like we're going lower, and I'm not feeling like we're going lower. I have discretion for why we're going lower, and I really wanted us to hit this 930 wick today, respecting the 4-hour gap. So I held the two cons. It would have been like plus 800 if it got here. Ended up not getting there. So the gist of this is I'm lucky that this trade worked, because if it didn't work, I would have been around minus 900 for the day, and that would have been a mental fucking. But yeah, I mean, we ended up taking this win, which is nice. Doesn't play out to full TP, but we do hit the internal low that we were targeting, and we got out for the majority. Again, it took 3 candles, so it was really quick. Ended up working, and I think that's all I got. So if we take a look at the account, when we had our first green week in like a month, I think, like a month, because we just couldn't get a win. But 2 wins this week. 2 wins this week, 2 losses. If I'm thinking back to this trade, it was also a good trade. So I think I took 4 good trades this week, which I'm happy about. But I didn't, like, this as a trading day in general is not a profitable trader's day. Like, I should be getting off the chart after losing 450. And then I shorted. My short was wrong, but I was still confident in my bias. I shorted again. My short worked, but my bias was wrong because we just ended up trending upwards. So I wouldn't say it's the best day as a trader in general, but it worked out. And I'm lucky to be moving on to next week with this in my account. We have CPI next week, so I'm excited for that. This is a 12-minute video, and this one will be longer. But that's all I got. Yep.